May I proceed, John?
You may proceed.
State your name for the record, if you would.
Sheldon Timothy Herrington Jr.
And what is your relationship, if any, to the defendant, Timothy Herrington?
Tim is my son.
Are you married?
I'm married.
What's your wife's name?
Tina Herrington.
You have any children other than Timmy?
Yes,
How many?
I have 4 other children.
What are their names?
Name is Kayla Herrington.
How old is she?
Kayla is 22. She'll be graduating this coming Friday.
Here at Ole Miss?
Nah,
Where?
Delta State.
Delta State. You have any other children?
I do.
All right, tell us who they are.
I have Jeremy Purnell. I also have Ebony and Dominique Brown.
And what are their ages?
Dominique is 32. Ebony is 30. And Jeremy is 25.
How old is Timmy right now?
Timmy, man, he was born in 2000, so 24.
And on July the 8th of 2022, Timmy living in Oxford at that time?
Objection to leading.
Was Timmy living in Oxford at that time?
Yes,
And how long had he been living in that apartment, you know, that particular apartment?
that particular apartment, at least I would say a year, 2.5, maybe 2 years.
Timmy recently, had he graduated recently?
He had recently graduated.
And you know what he got his degree in?
He got his degree in finance.
And during the course of his high school years, college years, did he maintain any type of employment, keep himself busy in any way, shape, form, or fashion, other than schooling?
Yes.
And describe to the jury what that was.
Timmy would go and do work with myself and his grandfather. He would also do going around and helping people move and do different things such as that.
And you stated that he did things for you and your grandfather. Would that be your father?
That would be my father,
What is his name?
James Timothy Herrington.
And you were employed at this time?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
I'm employed with Brentwood Behavioral Health Care of Mississippi out of Jackson.
You got to lean toward the microphone.
Brentwood Behavioral Health Care of Mississippi out of Jackson, Flowood.
Okay. And what do you do there?
I'm a counselor.
And as far as you stated that Timmy worked for you and your father, in what capacity? Describe to the jury what type of work he did for both of y'all.
We have rental houses. My father has sets of rental houses, and I also have sets of rental houses.
How many rental houses, if you know, I don't ask you know exactly how many your father may have, but you have a pretty good idea how many he's got?
Dad has over 50 houses.
And how many do you have?
6.
6. Have you recently purchased any from him or made any purchases on any of his houses?
I've made a purchase on 2 of Dad's houses.
And you know, if you do, can you tell the jury when those occurred, those purchases occurred?
Those purchases occurred about 2 years ago on those 2.
Those rental houses, are they in the Grenada area?
They are.
Would you describe those 2 houses in relationship to your other houses in the Grenada area?
Okay. In the Grenada area, my houses that I purchased from him is downtown, going through closer to the courthouse. And the other house that I purchased for him is going to be going towards the school, grade school.
Now, you testified just a few moments ago that Timmy would do things for you and your father in rental property. What type of work did he do? What year did he start doing that? How old was he when he started doing that?
Well, Timmy started doing work probably at 8 years old. As much as he could, go and follow us to do housing work. And that consisted of maybe cleaning, manual labor work, mostly. Fixing certain things around the rental property. We will be on top of roofs. We will be in the kitchens, fixing sinks, and different other things such as that, but mostly manual labor kind of things.
That include, you said at 8 years old, he wasn't getting on the roof at 8 though, was he?
Well, if he needed to.
So over the course of the years, from the time that he was 8 up until July 22, did he maintain those responsibilities with your father and yourself?
He did.
Okay. Was it a situation where he was under constant supervision, or what? July the 8th of 2022, Timmy's responsibilities with y'all, was it something that y'all had to constantly supervise him, or a situation where that he basically did his own thing?
Same objection. I'll let you answer. Go ahead.
We didn't have to supervise Timmy at all. Basically, if there was something that needed to be done, he would go ahead and do it.
Would you inform him, or your father inform him, that if something needed to be done in a house, he'd go do it, didn't have to have supervision doing that task?
That's correct.
Now, included in those responsibilities, did Timmy have responsibilities at the church?
Yes.
And what's the name of the church that your father was part of in Grenada?
Abundant Life Assembly.
Abundant Life. And where is it located in Grenada?
It's located 88 Cathy Drive. It's right there in the town of Grenada, right off the interstate. Matter of fact, it's maybe the first church that you get to coming into Grenada, coming from the post office.
And could you describe to the court and the jury what those responsibilities would have been there at the church as far as what Timmy would have to do? Did those responsibilities also start early in life?
It did. By me being a musician, Timmy was also a musician. He even taught classes at the church that he orchestrated himself. There were times when he also had to cut grass. We don't have a contractor to do that. Most of the time, I would get Tim and maybe several other young boys rather, to cut the grass, to do certain lawn services and maintenance work around the church.
In addition to those responsibilities around the church and the rental houses, did he likewise do those things at y'all's home?
Yes.
Now, I want to direct your attention to July, round about the time of July the 22nd, 2022. Do you recall the facts and circumstances that gave rise as far as you being notified that Timmy had been arrested?
Yes.
And did you, at any point in time, go or have an occasion to discuss the fact that you may need counsel?
Yes.
With anybody? And who was that?
That was Mr. Horan.
Okay. I don't go into the content of the conversation, but was there an occasion for us to meet at your residence anytime after Timmy's arrest?
No.
Did we ever meet at your residence at all after
Never.
Timmy's arrest?
Never.
Did we have conversations about your residence?
Conversation about the residents.
About your house?
Yes.
Okay. And did I give you any particular instructions of what to do as far as your residence and whether or not you need to cooperate with any authorities?
Yes.
Okay. And did you follow those instructions?
Yes, I did.
All right. This wheelbarrow right here, and these shovels, here are these shovels that are in the wheelbarrow. Can you recognize them, Mr. Herrington?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how do you recognize them?
Those are mine.
Now, do you recall the date that a search warrant was executed on your residence?
I do.
You remember what that date was?
That date was, I believe, the 26th of July.
Okay. Had you done anything to alter the character of the shovels or the wheelbarrow or any contents of the house in any way, shape, form, or fashion prior to the time that they executed the search warrant?
No.
You followed my directions?
To the point.
And does it appear that these are materially in the same condition that they were at the time that they executed that search warrant?
Yes.
Were there any other items that were at your home that you've seen a video of that were still at your home now?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about them a bit. I showed you a video of the UPS, Timmy walking across parking lot, going to the ATM on the 8th at the bank in Grenada. You saw that today, right?
I did.
Did you recognize the boots that he had on in that video?
I did.
And where are those boots now?
They're still in the same location.
And you followed my instructions as to any physical evidence down at your house. They're still there where they were the day after they left.
Still there.
As far as you cleaning or doing anything to these items that are introduced into evidence, did you do that after we talked on the phone?
No.
Do you recall whether or not between July the 8th and the 22nd, whether or not you had used any of these items in the yard at all?
No.
I turn to the witness.
Cross-examination?
Brief indulgence.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
You stated that on direct just now that Tim has been working for you since he was 8 years old.
Exactly.
So doing work, I think you said working on roofs?
Working on roofs, behind the house, in the house, just manual labor work.
Okay. In that work, has he had occasion to dig holes for you?
Occasionally, yeah.
And on July 8th, 2022, I know that we were kind of moving around it. Are you aware of if your son was doing work that day?
No.
So do you know what he was doing that day?
No.
So you're just saying that that's what it wasn't uncommon for him to move around and do work?
No, it was not uncommon for him.
Okay. And you stated that he was, I think y'all's church is Abundant Life?
Correct.
And it's in Grenada?
Correct.
Is that a very large church?
The building is, the membership's not.
Okay. And has Timothy been involved in that church since he was a child?
Since birth.
Okay. And your church, has Timothy ever brought any girlfriends or anything in relationships to church with him?
Sure.
Okay. Has he ever brought any boyfriends or relationships to church with him?
No.
And were you aware that Timothy had an interest in men?
No.
Today, are you aware that he has an interest in men?
By the proceedings, yes.
And so, back in 2022, were you aware that he had an interest in men?
Other than the reports that came out.
So after the reports came out is when you discovered that?
Yes.
So he was not open with you about that?
No.
Is that something that your church approves of?
Not necessarily the church approves of. I think that with that, people have their own opinions about it.
Brief indulgence. Attended the witness.
Redirect.
Harrington, you were asked about church community there in Grenada. Y'all had, if you had members that had family members that come to your attention, they may have gay members of their family.
Sure.
Objection, leading.
You went into it. You can ask the question.
Sure.
Treated them any differently than any
No
other member?
differently.
And also, as far as Timmy, I assume you treated him like a father, like a son or a child, like you did all the other children.
Sure.
Had the same conversations with him about sexuality that you had with the other ones, right?
Same.
Judge him if he would have told you you accepted him still as your son, if he'd told him that he was bisexual, if he'd told you he was bisexual? You still accept him and love him like you did your other children?
Sure.
As far as Timmy's reputation in Grenada for peacefulness, is it good?
Oh, objection, Your Honor. That's outside the scope.
She's out, she opened it up.
I think it's outside scope.
As far as Timmy's reputation, she asked you about doing things, going to church and things like that. Was he active in the community there in Grenada?
Very active.
Did he have gay friends? Do you know?
I'm not sure if he had gay friends. I'm not sure about that.
Witness him treating gay folks, gay people, or bisexual folks, or
Objection,
anybody?
Your Honor. Outside the scope. I
She
asked
asked
about
about,
defendant's
about
sexuality.
whether or not there was.
I think I'm gonna let you ask.
Did you witness him at any time treat anybody that was that was gay or bisexual or anything along those lines? You ever witness him treat those individuals any different?
No.
No further questions.
Let me, was D-108 ever referenced in any way? You had 108 marked, but it never had been referenced in any way, had it?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. Same ticket. May this witness be finally excused and may return to the courtroom?
You can stand.
You can stay in the courtroom now if you want to, Mr. Herrington. All right.
Can I step out for just a second? You don't have to.
How long have we been out here anyway?
So they don't
What
have to.
time is it? All right, you can step out for a
Just
second.
1 second.
Everybody good on the jury? Let me know if you're not.
Mr. James Harrington.
James Herrington, you say? All right, James Herrington, please. have a seat in the witness chair.
Now, Mr. John,
You may.
state your name if you would, please, sir.
James Timothy Herrington.
And what is your relationship, if any, to the defendant, Timothy Herrington?
Miss grandfather.
And where do you live, Mr. Herrington, right now?
15832 Highway 8 West, Grenada, Mississippi.
Is that in close proximity to any of your children? Do you live close to any of your children that live in Grenada?
Yes.
Which of those, who are those children? Who do you live close to?
Reginald, my youngest son, and my daughter Natalie.
What road do they live on?
Lincoln Road.
Lincoln Road. They live in houses next door to each other?
They do.
And if you were to leave your house and go to their house, go to Grenada, if you were going to Grenada, would you have to pass their house?
I left my house
Going to Grenada, would you pass Lincoln, the road that they live on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're closer to town than they are. Is that
I
right?
am.
Okay. Are you familiar with a place called Abundant Life Church? You familiar with that place?
Very familiar with it. I'm the pastor.
You're the pastor. How long have you been pastoring there?
42 years.
And you know where Sheldon and Tina Herrington live? You know their address? Is it on Broadmeadow?
Yes, it's Broadway.
I'll hand you what's been marked for identification. It's D108. You recognize this? If you would tell the jury what that report should be.
Okay. 121 Broadway Meadows Drive.
Does that appear to be the map for that location? Subdivision?
It is.
It fairly and accurately depicts, it's a Google map, fairly and accurately depicts the area in which they live. Just answer, is that the area in which they live?
That is there.
I move for introduction.
All right. Jim did it.
Mr. Herrington, do you go by, are you pastor, bishop, or preacher? What do they call you in town?
I answer to all of them.
Actually, all of them. What do people normally reference?
Bishop.
Bishop?
Yes.
Now tell me, if you would, are you pretty close to all your children and grandchildren there in Grenada?
Very close. Very close.
Close to Timmy?
Very close.
And did he at any point in time in his young life begin working for you in any capacity or doing anything for you there in Grenada?
He's worked for me ever since he's been big enough to do anything.
And did you tell the court and the jury the responsibilities from the early age on up until July 8, 2022, what Timmy would do for you and members of the family?
Yes. I do a lot of rental property, and one of the main things Timmy would do, well, he would work with us in repairing rental properties, but mainly cleaning up around them, picking up material, trash, and whatever. But that was his main job, to pick up behind those that did the work.
Did you do other things on your rental houses? Like in the summertime, did he have other responsibilities as well as cleaning up, keeping the property clean and good repair?
Yeah, he would have assignments to do pretty much whatever came up. From time to time, I would have him working with contractors, maybe putting on a roof, or tearing out sewer, or picking up scrap metal and other debris, and just whatever came up.
Did you tell the court and the jury generally the locations of the property? I know you have a lot of units, but locations of the property. Did you own property in Elliott, Mississippi during July of 2022?
Yes, I own one property in the area at 212 Mississippi Avenue.
And did you own any property north of town?
Yes.
Remember how much property you owned north of town?
Yes, at one time I owned two properties out of Tardale Road, which is north of town. And I had another property south of town, south of Elliott in Duck Hill. All the other properties basically are in Grenada, city limits.
Did Timmy have any responsibilities in addition to the rental properties at the church throughout the years? Did he do things at the church similar to the rental properties? Cleaning up things of that nature? How active was Timmy in the church as far as activities within the church family?
Well, Tim was very active in the church. In fact, he was the lead guitar player. He played for the choirs, and he even played for the services. So he was there every week, sometime twice a week.
Now, you've identified the map as being the area of DO8, being in the area subdivision out there at Glenmuddy, correct?
Right.
Now, if Timmy were to go to any of your property that was located south of Glenbrook, that he would have, the property in Elliott would be south of Glenbrook, correct?
That's correct.
Full window. Bishop, the location there where Tina and Sheldon live, did Timmy also live there during the time frame of July the 8th, 2022, come and go, to your knowledge?
He did.
Sustain the objection.
Are you familiar with the fact that Timmy came back and forth from Oxford to Grenada?
All the time.
Were there occasions where you saw him? Did you ever see him in the box truck during that time frame?
I did.
Just actually didn't see him.
That's not on that one.
You recall the time when Timmy got arrested in July of 2022, correct?
I did.
And were you, at that time, was Timmy carrying on the same responsibilities as far as prior to his arrest that you described as far as rental houses and the church and responsibilities at that time? Was he doing the same things since he'd been doing time before that?
He was.
Did you at any time, was it a situation where you talked to Timmy on a regular basis about what he needed to do?
I did.
And did you have to give him details of stuff, or he basically do it on his own?
Mostly I would give him assignments to do. Sometimes I would give him 2 or 3 at a time, and he would do them on his time.
Told him what needed to be done, he did it on his time. That's all I have now.
Cross-examination.
So, if I understand correctly, if you needed anything done on your rental properties, you would let Tim know. If you needed anything done at the rental properties, you would let Tim know. You would communicate as your testimony with him. Is that correct?
You said when I didn't have anything done.
I'm sorry?
You said when I have anything done.
If you needed anything done at the rental properties, your testimony was that you would communicate with him what needed to be done. Correct?
You said when I have anything done. I have a lot of things to be done. Many times I had contractors to do work.
Yeah. You've got 50 rental properties.
Yes.
And sometimes the commode will go out, or sometimes you would need debris cleaned up if a renter moves out, things of that nature?
Timmy didn't do things like that. He's not a contractor.
Okay, he's on contract.
He's not a contractor.
He's not your, what do you mean by that?
He didn't do repair work by himself.
Oh, okay.
He's not a contractor. I said he would do picking up material, he would clean up. Sometimes he might work alongside a contractor.
Did you just tell the jury that if anything needed to be done by Timmy on the rental property, that you would communicate with him and let him know? I'm not trying to trick you, I'm just trying to remind you of what you told the jury. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Now, during July of 2022, Timmy was living in Oxford, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have Timmy's telephone number?
Always had his telephone number.
Okay. And if he wasn't in Grenada, would it be your method of communicating to him what was needed to be done to use that number?
I didn't usually call him on a number and give him assignments. Usually when he was in Grenada, I would tell him the different things that I'd like to see him get done.
Now, July 22nd, 2022, Oxford Police Department takes Tim Herrington into custody. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember investigators approaching you for any information that may be relevant to that time period or relevant to the disappearance and death of Jay Lee?
Yes, I remember.
Do you remember not giving them any information whatsoever?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember being called, subpoenaed as a witness to the grand jury proceedings? Isn't it true that when you were called to provide testimony about the time period of July 8th to July 22nd involving the disappearance and death of Jay Lee, that you took the fifth? You took the fifth. You said, I'm not going to provide any information to that body. Is that correct?
I don't have any information to provide.
You didn't have any information, right? Because you don't have any personal knowledge of what Tim Herrington was doing on July 8th, 2022.
No.
And you don't have any personal information or personal knowledge about whether Tim Herrington provided truthful information to law enforcement on July 22nd, 2022.
Yeah.
Now, I represent to you that Quentin Jeremiah Love represented that his relationship with Tim Herrington.
I'm gonna let her hear the question first anyway.
That he testified that his relationship with Tim Herrington was close, like brothers. Do you know that to be true?
Sure.
Okay. Now he has described that he has seen Tim Herrington with girlfriends. Girlfriends.
I knew that.
He has testified that he has seen Tim Herrington with girlfriends in the past.
Say that again.
Mr. Love has testified to this jury that he has seen Tim Herrington with girlfriends in the past.
Girlfriends.
Girlfriends.
I still don't hear that word. I don't hear the best.
What do you not understand?
I said I don't hear the best. I don't understand.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand what you said.
Have you ever known Tim Herrington to have girlfriends?
Yeah, what?
Have you ever known your grandson to have girlfriends?
I've seen him talk to girls, yes.
Okay. Have you ever known him to be interested in men?
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
Where you at? Oh, yeah.
Bishop, did Tim act independently of y'all's conversations, keeping up with the affairs that you told him to do over the years? Did he have to have instructions?
Hang on a second, hang on a second,
He opened it up.
hang on a second. What's the objection?
Did,
Rephrase your objection.
did Tim act independently of you and his responsibilities that you gave him?
Ask him how he acted rather than,
How did he carry out his responsibilities? Did he need direction from you?
Ask and answer, Your Honor. Covered on direct and cross.
I'm gonna let him ask it.
Yes, he did carry out his, my instructions in the gun. I would give him several instructions, and he would do it on his time.
Whenever he got time to do it? Was it necessary for you to call him on a regular basis for him to carry out those responsibilities? Now, Bishop, did you really ever have any conversations with Timmy about his sexuality at all?
No.
Thank you.
May his witness be finally excused.
You can be.
Mr. Harrington, you're free to go. You're welcome to stay in the courtroom, whichever one you'd like to do, okay?
The defendant rest.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me ask this. State, gonna have any rebuttal? I'll give you a minute to think back. I want y'all, I got some more business I gotta do. Don't go far, and I'll get some more class. Go to the jury room this time. Don't form or express any opinions. Don't talk about the case. Is that door closed? All right, it is now. Mr. Harrington, I'm going to direct these comments to you again. If you'll recall at the break not long ago, I advised you that you had the right to testify in this case if you wanted to. If you do choose to testify, you'll be subject to cross-examination. If you choose not to testify, the jury will be instructed the fact that you chose not to testify could not be used as any evidence of that you were guilty of any crime. I asked you at that time to be consulting with your attorneys and for you to make a decision. It would be your personal decision. It would not be your attorney's decisions, but your decision about whether you wish to testify or not testify. Have you had an opportunity to consult with your attorneys about that issue? Yes, sir. Have you reached a decision about the decision whether you wish to testify in this case or wish not to testify? What is that decision? Okay, and you've consulted with your attorneys in that regard? That your understanding, Mr. Horan, as well?
That's correct.
All right. And at this time, the defense is rested. Is that correct?
That's correct.